Do I have a motion to reconvene in open session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The board is now in open session. Madam Clerk, would you please read the resolution certifying the closed session?
Now therefore be it resolved that the school board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies, and two, only such business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, and considered by the school board.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Ryan Harder,
Aye.
Catherine Haynes,
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the first personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/01-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Ryan Harder,
Aye.
Catherine Haynes,
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/02-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Ryan Harder,
Aye.
Catherine Haynes,
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/03-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Ryan Harder,
Aye.
Catherine Haynes, Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/04-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Ryan Harder,
Aye.
Catherine Haynes,
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/05-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Ryan Harder,
Aye.
and Catherine Haynes,
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/06-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Ryan Harder,
Aye.
Catherine Haynes,
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Is there a motion regarding the next personnel matter?
In case number 2023-24/07-HR, it is recommended that the superintendent's recommendation be upheld.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Ryan Harder,
Aye.
Catherine Haynes,
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the August 14th, 2023 School Board Business Meeting to order. Before we begin the meeting this evening, I would like to thank everyone for attending the August 14th School Board Business Meeting and remind the audience that comments to this board may only be made at the podium during the public comment period. Comments from the audience are prohibited and are in violation of Section 18.2-415 of the Code of Virginia, Disorderly Conduct in Public Places, and School Board Policy 6141. I appreciate everyone's patience and understanding so that we can conduct the business meeting in an orderly fashion. On behalf of the school board, I would like to share that we are all excited to see teachers return in full force today for Teacher Work Week as they started final preparations for student arrival next Monday, August 21st. It truly makes it feel as though we can now see the anticipated start of school for all of our students on the immediate horizon. We will now have invocation with Ms. Heffron, followed by flag salute by Mrs. Haynes.
For tonight's invocation, the school board would like to recognize with a moment of silence the passing of Van Mashia Proctor, a substitute bus driver who originally joined CCPS as a custodian day porter on June 26, 2019. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Our consent agenda for the evening includes agenda adoption, approval of the minutes from the June 6, 2023 work session, June 6, 2023 business meeting, and June 30th, 2023 special meeting. Memo number 105-23, recommended personnel actions. Memo number 106-23, FY 2023 acceptance of new grants. Memo number 107-23, acceptance of donations. Memo number 108-23, 2024 health and dental contracts. Memo number 109-23, review and approval of FY 2024 tuition rates for non-resident students. Memo number 110-23, seat time waiver for 2023-24. Memo number 063-23, audio enhancement contract. Memo number 111-23, appointment of members to school board advisory committees. Memo number 112-23, approval of technical edits to the 2023-2024 program of studies. Memo number 113-23, approval of CIT name change. Memo number 114-23, deed of gift for shade project at Matoaka Elementary School. Memo number 115-23, deed of gift for interior mural project at Providence Elementary School. Memo number 116-23, deed of gift for window wrap project for Jacobs Road Elementary School. And memo number 117-23, changes to CCPS Operations Division Procedure MC-013. Are there any additions or corrections to the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, there are no additions or corrections to the consent agenda.
Are there any requests from a school board member to separate an item from the consent agenda for discussion and individual action? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron,
Aye.
Brian Harder,
Aye.
Catherine Haynes,
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The motion carries. Dr. Daughtery, would you please announce our new administrators?
Thank you, Madam Chair. When I call your name, please come up to the front, please. First of all, our new Director of Equity and Student Support Services is Dr. Leah Ortiz. Dr. Ortiz. Dr. Ortiz was with us several years ago and took an opportunity to go to the Department of Education, and she's coming back, and we're really excited to have her. And do you have any? Is there any family here? Yes. Okay, family members, you have to stand up. Thanks for coming out to support her. Leah, we're really excited to have you back, and I know you do a great job. And today is her first day, so let's give her a round of applause. Next, the Director of Finance and Payroll, Jamie Peoples. Jamie? Jamie, thank you for joining us. You have family here? Okay. Well, we're excited to have you with us. She started this summer, and she's still here, so thanks for doing that. July 10th. Give her a round of applause. The new principal of Meadowbrook High School, who started on the 24th of July, Dr. Craig Reed. Dr. Reed, come on down, please. Dr. Reed has his doctorate from the College of William & Mary, was with Caroline County as a director of secondary instruction, previous experiences as administrator, school administrator, and principal. Really excited to have you with us. Craig, is anybody here? Family? Well, you come on over here. You got. Yeah. So we're really excited to have you here, Craig. Thank you so much, and he's doing a great job already. So we're looking for great things. Thank you for joining us. Let's give him a round of applause. And the new principal of Falling Creek Middle School, Quincy Waller. Quincy, come on down. He started off running July 1st, and we're really excited. Any family here, Quincy? Okay. Well, Quincy, we wish you the very best, and I know he's excited because a year from now we'll be in a new building. So congratulations and good luck, Quincy. Thank you. Thank you. That's all, Madam Chair.
Next, we have awards and recognitions. Mr. Smith.
I'd ask our visual arts teachers to come forward this time. Gwen and Marina. When we recognize our visual arts teachers of the year in June, 2 of our 3 honorees were unable to attend the school board meeting. We're pleased that they're here today. Art education is a vital, integral part of K-12 curriculum as it fosters creativity, provides an outlet for expression, and improves both critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Learning opportunities presented to students through our visual arts programs have lasting effects on self-confidence and help to open pathways for future career opportunities. Congratulations to this year's CCPS Visual Arts Teachers of the Year. The Elementary Art Teacher of the Year is Erica Oger of Salem Church Elementary. The Middle School Art Teacher of the Year is Gwen Garrett of Fallen Creek Middle. And the High School Art Teacher of the Year is Marina Mukai of Manchester High. Please join me in congratulating these colleagues.
Well, congratulations, and you're definitely doing something right if you guys made it to here. So if you want to go ahead, just tell us something that keeps you coming back every day. What makes you the best?
Really, I'm going to say I'm the best on this mic? Yikes. K through 12 was rough for me. I was the fat kid, I was the weird art kid, I was very opinionated and loud and strange. And so outside of art being amazing in and of itself, I try to carry the legacy of teachers that were there for me. So it's good to provide a space for kids who feel unseen, misunderstood, whatever.
I, in a similar way, kind of struggled with some of my academic classes, but I was able to strive in my art class. So that's something that I try to create an environment where students who don't necessarily find it easy in some of their more traditional academic classes can be really successful in my class.
Thank you both for all that you do for our children. Here you go. Thank you.
If I could ask our school board advisory committee members to come forward this time. Advisory committees established by the Chesterfield County School Board are one way that community members connect with their local schools. Advisory committee members are appointed from each of the county's 5 magisterial districts and include parents, teachers, staff members, students, and other community members interested in helping Chesterfield County Public Schools achieve its mission and vision. The Chesterfield County School Board wishes to thank those who fully completed their terms of service on the board's various advisory committees. From the CCBS Audit and Finance Committee, Victoria Ricola, Clover Hill District, Sean Eichert, Midlothian District. From the Environmental Stewardship Advisory Committee, Saran Stevens-Ross, Dale District, Andrew Green from the Lothian District. From the Gifted Education Advisory Committee, Rachel Watson, Bermuda District, Debbie Lewis, Clover Hill District, Africa Ennis, Dale District, Susan Beals, Matoaka District, Lucinda Wood, teacher, Obie Gates Elementary, Rhonda Bailey Clark, teacher, Elizabeth Davis Middle School, Riley Scott, student member, Monacan High School, Kendall Fuller, student member, Appomattox Regional Governor's School. From the School Health Advisory Committee, Mary Dunn Stewart, family wellness expert, Catherine Vadalaro, I think I got that right, Vadalaro Hill, student wellness expert. And from the Special Education Advisory Committee, Jill Arsenault, Clover Hill District, and Jennifer Krajewski from Matoaka District. Please join me in congratulating these advisory committee members.
So advisory committee members are some of my favorite people because you don't get paid anything, and you bring incredible expertise to the job. So it can be a hard sell, but you're there for us. And some of you have even served 2 terms, and at least one of you, Sean, very excited, and if there's someone else, please let me know, has volunteered to jump over to another committee. And I'm sure someone else here has done that. Sometimes we try to twist your arm, but please stay, because it's that historical knowledge. I think you also, Beals, right, have been on Gifted Committee for a long time. So that kind of historical knowledge is really important. Some of you have served through 2 boards, school boards, and some will go into a 3rd school board. So thank you for your time. Please share what was your most memorable moment of being on a committee, sort of what you loved, or any particular moment. And also is there any family in the audience? A couple. Thank you for showing up. So name again and most memorable moment.
Rhonda Bailey Clark. I served on the Gifted Education Advisory Committee. I'm also a CBG and gifted teacher here in the county. And to name a memorable moment on the spot is very difficult, but I can say I truly enjoyed serving. I wish them nothing but continued success in the program and the committee, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Hi, I'm Saran Stevens-Ross. I served on the Environmental Stewardship Committee. I think my most memorable moment was when the solar panels were coming out, and we got to see all the little kids seeing the solar panels, and then I think they're going into Falling Creek first, but I'm actually resigning from the board only because I'm joining another board, and that's the YMCA for Greater Richmond, so I'll be at Manchester YMCA if you want to see me. Thank you.
I'm Jill Arsenault. I was on the SEAC committee. I don't know if I have a one favorite moment, but I really loved the progression that we took from, I started in October of 2020. We were at separate tables, we all had masks on, and we didn't say barely anything to one another. And I think by the end of my term, at the end of this year, we said a lot, and we were able to just have a really good conversation with all of our teachers and all of our students and all of our administrators. So I'm really proud of that.
I'm Sean Eckert. I was on the Audit and Finance Committee. When I joined, the committee was just being formed, so we all kind of showed up and weren't really sure what we were supposed to do with ourselves once we got there. But with a lot of hard work from the folks on the committee and certainly the dedicated staff that maybe don't get the good PR that they deserve for the hard work they do kind of behind the scenes in the sort of business and finance areas of the school system. Really enjoyed getting a chance to put a committee together that I think had some good ideas, and really enjoyed working with the folks got to work with within the school district.
I'm Jen Krajewski, and I was on the Special Education Advisory Committee. And I think for me, the most memorable thing is always listening to parents' stories. So the parents that came to our meetings and brought us their issues. I think that's an important part of the system, and it was always nice to be a part of that.
I'm Susan Beals. I was on the Gifted Education Advisory Committee. When I joined the committee, there were a lot of children who were being qualified as gifted who were not able to take advantage of those resources because of transportation issues. So I am most proud that we were able to expand gifted education to a lot more sites, fix the transportation issues, and get a lot more kids involved.
Good evening. My name's Mary Dunn Stewart, and I have been on the School Health Advisory Board for a number of years, and it's just been really rewarding to see how many more community members are getting involved and joining the committees, as well as there's just a lot of great staff members across Chesterfield County Schools and the health department and others that the advisory board couldn't do its work without the input of those key staff members. So, thank you.
And you can always come back. We always have openings. So thank you.
Next, we have recognition of outstanding driver performance. Dr. Fry.
Good evening, Madam Chair, school board members, Dr. Daugherty, and Mr. Roberts. It's my pleasure this evening to present to you our drivers of the summer. It took approximately 170 drivers this summer to complete the summer school transportation mission. And we appreciate all the work that they did, the long days and hot summers to get all of our students to school on time. However, there were 5 drivers that really stood out amongst the other for their work ethic and just their can-do attitude. When I call your names, please join me in recognizing the following drivers. Gordon Ainsworth, Area 1, Bus 847, 9 years of service. His area manager said, Mr. Ainsworth is dedicated, hardworking, reliable, and always willing to go above and beyond to help wherever is possible. David Williams, Area 2, Bus 670, 2 months of service. Mr. Williams commented that he enjoys taking the kids to school and learning different areas. Everybody has a good attitude, and he loves what he's doing now. Joe Marchese, Area 3, Bus 347, 1 year of service. His area manager says that he enjoys driving the children and helping the community. Rebecca Enos, Area 4, Bus 221, 4 years of service. She is unable to join us this evening, but accepting her award is her area manager, Jennifer Davis. Ms. Enos says that she likes being a bus driver because her schedule is the same as her children, which allows her to spend more time with them. Walter Mendoza, Area 5, Bus 515, 2 years of service. His area manager says that Mr. Mendoza transports private placement students and works very well with them and all the staff.
Thank you, Dr. Fry. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for supporting Ms. Ennis tonight. And over the summer, to come in and help get our kids to and from school, deeply appreciative of that. Our summer school students needed your help, and you stepped up, and we appreciate you. And I don't know if you, I won't pass the mic because I don't like being put on the spot either. But, but we do appreciate you being the first friendly face that some kids see in the morning, but definitely the first face of school that they see in the morning and the last face of school that they see when they go home. And thank you so much for all that you do for our kids. Congratulations.
Next, we have recognition of outstanding food service employees. Mr. Dunbrack.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Doherty. As always, thank you for the opportunity to recognize some of our outstanding food nutrition services team members. One of the main hiring points that we are able to offer within food nutrition services to our team members is a favorable schedule for a hospitality industry employee, having their nights, weekends, and summers all to themselves. Scheduling benefits alone have resulted in many of our new hires throughout the years. While many of our school employees eagerly await their summers and begin to vacation plan, we tend to forget that our buildings will soon be full of summer school students that are eager and hungry to learn. We are so fortunate in CCPS to have individuals that are willing to forgo their time off over the summer to continue to offer food to our students. The importance that these individuals assign to keeping all of our students fed is only one example of how fortunate we are in Chesterfield to have the food nutrition services team that we do. Tonight, I have 6 honorees with me. I have 5 area supervisors and a special nomination for myself. Not for me, by me. First, we have Audrey Hazelwood. Ms. Hazelwood is a substitute cafeteria employee working at Crenshaw Elementary School. She's been with Chesterfield County Public Schools for 10 years and says, "It's the enjoyment of interacting with the students by providing them with quality food and service that makes my job rewarding. Seeing a smile on their faces each and every day lets me know that my job has been successfully done." I don't think she was with us this evening. Next, we have Nadine Parker. Ms. Parker is a food service associate at Winterpock Elementary School and has been with the county for 2 years. Says that the best part of her job is interacting with kids every day, greeting them by name, seeing their smiles, and their excitement for breakfast and lunch makes this job very rewarding. Next, we have Virginia Vest. Ms. Vest is our cafeteria manager at Carver Middle School, and she's been with the county for 14 years. She says, "The thing I love the most about my job are the friends and teammates that I've made over my 14 years of service to the county." Next, we have Jeanette Ritter. Ms. Ritter is our cafeteria manager at Thomas Dale High School and has been with the county for 18 years. She says, "I love my job for many reasons. One of those reasons is that I had the opportunity to help teach special education students life skills in a food service environment. The skills that these students learn help benefit them by giving them confidence within themselves and to be productive in society." Next, we have Robert Knowles. Mr. Knowles is our Food Nutrition Services vending technician. That is his formal title, but he does a number of things outside of that within our department. He's been employed with the county for 5 years. He says, "I'm just part of a collective group that really works well together. Even though our jobs are diversely different, I like to think that if I can lend a hand to anyone in the office or even in the field, that is what my job is, to be there for the team." And lastly, we have our Assistant Director, Casey Dickinson. So give you a little background why I'm recognizing her tonight. Several months ago, Casey came to my office and told me she was going to set up a booth at the farmers market on the government complex and serve food over the summer in the middle of July. Had some concerns, if I'm being honest, primarily if students would show up in 90-degree weather to eat food outside. While I certainly had some reservations, I know that my team, particularly Casey, would never come to me without a plan in place and a firm grasp of what she was taking on. The results of the program were several, including new farm fresh recipes, increased relationships with local farms and farmers, and most importantly, several hundred meals served to students. I've spoken about the goal of our department to continue to evolve and meet the needs of our students. And this farmers market service was an excellent example of what we were trying to do within our department. So Casey has been with our department for 3 years and says, "I love my job because of the team I work with. Imagine being surrounded by hundreds of people that are passionate and committed to feeding children in our community. It's such a caring and selfless environment. We are more than just a department, but a pillar of the community." So thank you, guys.
Well, first off, congratulations, and unlike Miss Heffron, I kind of like putting people on the spot. So, if you want to make a comment, you can, but just say what's the bright spot in your day every day when you come in to see our children, because you do have one of the most important jobs, and that is making sure that our children eat each and every day. Because if they're hungry, they're not learning, right? And so, just go ahead and let us know one item that gets you up every morning to go to work.
Well, I think mine's a little bittersweet, but my mother actually passed away about a week ago today to cancer. But my mother was a dedicated caregiver her entire life. I think at one point in our house, she was feeding 11 mouths, so my mother hated to cook. And so I think with this job for me, I think it's honestly the best way I can honor her memory is continuing to give to this community and continuing to feed our kids every day. Because as you said, if they're hungry, they just can't learn. And I think that's exactly what my mother stood for. And so that's what I'm going to continue to stand for too.
Well, I was told to let you know that Kareem Hassan had put my name out for this. But no, it's this is a really neat honor because I work with a bunch of people, because I see just about all the cafeteria managers and everybody back at the office. We really are a team, and it works well.
I really enjoy seeing the kids every day, building relationships with them and seeing the excitement on the kids when we have something they really, really like. And I think all kids are a gift, and I love them all. And I like to be there for them and provide to them their food needs.
I think that one thing that I've received this past year from my job is the fact that I know that I brighten the day of a child with a meal, and that at the end of the year, they're thanking me for everything that I've done for them.
For me, I just enjoy getting up and making for sure I'm feeding a child 2 healthy meals a day, and also interacting with them and seeing their excitement.
Thank you. Let's get a round of applause for our food and nutrition program, because you guys truly are one of the best around. And in Berkeley, you do lead an excellent department. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have public comment. For this meeting, citizens were given the options of submitting their comments online or in person. Comments submitted via the online form were sent to the board prior to the start of tonight's meeting and will be included in full as an addendum to the meeting minutes. Madam Clerk, would you please announce this evening's in-person speakers on the agenda items?
Madam Chair, we have 14 speakers for the agenda item this evening. They are Natalia White, Rosa Hamilton, Jan Caldwell, Mason Alexander, John Kawapitz, Wendy Little, Mike Carabinos, Jason Spoon, Ann Tatus, George Brito Sr., Peggy Taylor, Brenda Stewart, Matthew McNeil, and Robert Ebereth. Each speaker will have 4 minutes to address the board. There is a timer set up on top of the podium that will turn green when you begin speaking, yellow when you have 30 seconds remaining, and red when your time has expired. As a reminder, no personal belongings other than a cell phone and your speaker notes are allowed at the podium. Please have your materials organized in a manner that as you arrive at the podium, you are prepared to start speaking. Please note that comments equivalent to campaigning for any public office are a violation of School Board Policy 1110 and are prohibited. May we have Natalie White. Rosa Hamilton. Jan Caldwell.
Good evening. My name's Jan Caldwell, and I've been a resident of Chesterfield County for 27 years. I've raised my 3 boys in Bon Air, who all attended Chesterfield County Public Schools, and I'm now living in the Dale District. I'm also the grandmother of a 5-year-old who resides in Chesterfield County. I need to mention that I am shy by nature. I never raised my hand in class until 5th grade because I was too afraid of people looking at me. So public speaking is not easy, but this is too important to avoid speaking up. I'm here tonight as a concerned citizen in regards to our children in Chesterfield County Public Schools. Governor Youngkin's administration has released the 2023 model policies, which I am hoping you, as my school board, will adopt by having them written into Chesterfield County policy and put them on the agenda to support the vote as soon as possible. Because parents' rights matter. As the 14th Amendment of the Constitution states, there is due process. Also, the importance of having privacy in bathrooms matters. In my opinion, co-ed bathrooms are inappropriate at any age, let alone for young children in our public schools. As a young girl, it was hard enough adjusting to that time of the month using an all-girls bathroom. I can't imagine the horror of doing so knowing that a biologically born male might be in the bathroom too. These children are trusting you to make decisions in their best interests, so please keep that in mind as you consider this matter. Thank you for listening.
Mason Alexander.
Mason could not be here today, and I'm here to speak for him.
No.
No, okay.
John Kawapitz.
Good evening. Excuse me. I'm John Quapis. I have 2 children who went through the public schools here in Chesterfield. I have several things I want to talk to you briefly about. Number one is the concern or the issue of transgender issue within the public schools here in Chesterfield. As you know, guidelines have come out from the governor's office. I hope you'll be considering them soon. I think there will need to be a few changes, amendments to them. Let me start by saying that this is not anything about hate. It's nothing to do with hate. Concerns regarding the transgender issue from what might be called the conservative side, but it's not really conservative. It's a human concern. It is a concern about the children and the welfare of the children, a compassion for the children, not hate at all. The concern is that too many children, it's been shown in a number of areas around the country in schools, and potentially here too, are being promoted and pushed when they're confused, upset, feeling out of sorts, feeling alienated, are getting gradually pushed or promoted into looking into a transgender lifestyle. And this has profound consequences, of course, for their future, for their life, and even for their medical condition, for the lifetime medical condition as a result from the surgery that goes on. And so, 2 things. We need to look at giving more information to children and parents when there is counseling and discussion about this. This is a problem we've seen around the country, that people are not getting enough information about the potential harm. They're getting more of a one-sided presentation. I have several articles here that I want to present to you regarding this. One is called Gender Dysphoria and Children, an endocrinologist's evaluation of the book I Am Jazz. The book I Am Jazz is in 4 schools here in the county that we know of. The endocrinologist analyzes this book, it's kind of an autobiography, and points out errors and omissions and just falsehoods that are in the book the endocrinologist talks about, explains the medical harm that comes from the transgender surgery and the drugs that precede it. That this is not being provided to the parents and children. This information is not being provided to the children as they are counseled. As you perhaps know, the transgender dysphoria condition is a psychological and mental disability. It's somewhat akin to bulimia, where a person feels in their mind that there's something wrong with their body, they don't like the body. It's a psychological problem, not a physical problem. So I have also several other articles here that will be given to you. One is the impossibility of informed consent for transgender intervention, and also an article that talks about the changing medical analysis of the transgender medical situation. Countries like England, Sweden, I believe Denmark, and France, the medical establishment has said now we do not support moving into the surgery and the drugs. We need to take a more of a stand and wait situation because of potential harm involved. The vast majority of people, young children who feel transgender, if they do not get drugs or surgery, the vast majority, by the time they're around 20, grow out of this and revert to their biological sex. A lot more can be said, but I'm running out of time. Two quick things. Where can I find out information about what the schools will be teaching on Constitution Day in the Constitution this coming September?
Thank you, Mr.
And where can
Kwapitz.
I get that information also regarding the environment and climate change?
Thank you, Mr.
that is-
Kwapitz.
Madam Chair. Ms. Heffron.
If the previous public speaker has notes, those can be, or a statement can be submitted to the clerk. Is that correct?
That is correct.
A written
yes.
statement from,
A written statement can be turned in.
you can turn that into the clerk
Yes.
for public record.
Okay, we have Wendy Little.
Good evening. My shirt reflects my First Amendment right as to how I feel right now. My name is Wendy Little from the Clover Hill District, the notorious Clover Hill District. Chesterfield County Public Schools, you have inflicted 3 federal education violations upon Aaron Little. I'd appreciate it if the superintendent would not smirk at that, because all of this is under all of your purview. The last violation, as you all should know, while you've continued to ignore me last year and since, is failure to provide education for the entire 2022-23 school year. That was adjudicated July 17th, 2023. Who was right? Me. You failed to educate my son. You had one job. One. You have one job. You've ruined his life and mine. And in doing so, I believe there are more violations. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution, Virginia Chapter 2.1, Article 2, Section 101-240.1, parental rights. And Aaron has a little something to say to you. To Chesterfield County Public Schools, he couldn't be here tonight. He's too angry. Thanks not for ruining my life and education. And my mom's, too. I'd appreciate the attention of the superintendent, please. Furthermore, you probably have, I can't even tell you how many claims are out there that I've filed. You guys are in a lot of trouble. BDOE and VBOE needs a scapegoat. Chesterfield is a perfect place right now. I am advocating that your special education funding be taken away, and I'm going further than that because of the way you ignore me, the way I'm treated by people that you employ, repeatedly bullied, and you still have no IEP for my son. There's several fraud and abuse claims, and I believe there are false claims available. I believe there are violations there, and some of those can come with criminal charges. So here is what needs to happen. My son still has no assigned school to go to for this year, thanks to your special education people and the failure of any responsible or knowledgeable leadership to supervise them. In fact, I have your special education audit right here for the public record. I also have 2 letters that I'm submitting from one of my son's case managers about the treatment of him, the loss of his disability benefits, and the letter from Winsome Sears, again, about how you have treated my son. And I was able to speak with the governor's office last week, as well as Amy Gadara. For anybody who cannot encourage your Clover Hill colleague to direct the superintendent to do the right thing and stop sending me to the same wolves over and over again, somebody's got to do something. And I'm going for more than your special education funds. Your IDEA funds are going to go away because I got them for you. $5 million. Hopefully your special education funding, then you have to figure out what to do with that for everyone. You owe me for what you received to educate Aaron and didn't educate him at all last year. And you continue to ignore me. There are a lot of people behind me who know that they're going to be ignored, they're going to be bullied, or they're going to be mistreated, and they're afraid to speak, but I'm not. There's a lot of people behind me, and we're going to come after your entire charter, and that will be your legacy. That is your legacy. And the legacy of the people that you hire to do special education kids wrong over and over. I'm available with your superintendent's participation for an IEP meeting on Wednesday morning. Touch base with me or you will be out of compliance on Thursday again.
Mike Carabinos.
I wish that we had more time in these public comments to express our support for people like Wendy and the other important issues that face this county. I've heard it described, these ongoing cultural issues, as throwing meat to the base. And just look at the feeding frenzy that results. But like a real feeding frenzy, there is blood in this water. Transgender children have higher rates of suicide and homelessness. The one person here who is part of the community that was going to speak and could not attend and you would not allow their proxy to speak, had a very personal story about being outed against their will and living that exact experience. One of the leading reasons given for the fact that queer kids make up half of all homeless children is the fact of unsupportive or unwelcoming parents. The governor says that we should trust parents to love their kids, and I would love to. The UN Commission says children have a right to loving parents. Over the last 2 years, I have developed a talent for figuring out when particular participation is grassroots, heartfelt, and when it's an astroturf moral panic. Sometimes it's very complicated. You have to dig deep to find the links to groups like Parents Defending Education, Moms for Liberty, or the other darlings of the Koch and the Heritage Foundations. Other times it can be rather easy to spot, like a series of identical professionally printed signs that pop up all over the county and all over the state at the same time at public events. Now, luckily, Chesterfield doesn't need the governor's new policy. Chesterfield already has a policy on the books, and I am grateful for that. The policy that Chesterfield already has on the books is already in compliance with Title 22.1. It already respects the dignity and rights of transgender children. The Richmond superintendent has already advised that their district reject the policies that were proposed. The Virginia High School League has already rejected the policy because they already had policies on the books. The Fairfax County Public Schools are rejecting the policy. Alexandria Public Schools are rejecting the policy. And Arlington Public Schools, in a public statement by Superintendent DeFrancisco, wrote, "We have reviewed the model policies and determined that our own current policies and policy implementation procedures that protect the rights of our transgender students will stay as is. I oppose any policy that infringes upon the rights of our students and threatens the safety and well-being of our LGBTQIA students." It's a wonderful statement. It's a clear statement. It's a statement of independence and dedication to the student, a statement I hope you all echo in the coming months. And if you do not, I remind every member of the faculty in this county, it is your duty to protect children. And sometimes unjust laws must be disobeyed by just men.
Jason Spoon.
All right. Hey, before I get started, I promise to thank everybody for serving your community as a school board member, and I do. I thank you for that. I know this can sometimes seem like a public pillory. Hopefully I won't be a part of that. But hey, good evening, Superintendent, members of the school board. My name is Jason Spoon. I'm a resident of the Midlothian District, and I'm the director of Speak Up Chesterfield with these awesome folks back here. And more importantly, I'm a father of 3 school-aged children, and I'm very concerned with some of the policies that I see in our public school system. I think it's interesting that we as a people, we're concerned with protecting our children from most of the dangerous things that befall them, including themselves frequently. But we kind of nod our head when children want to chemically sterilize themselves or, mutilate their bodies. These decisions, they kind of seem arbitrary and hypocritical to me, especially when we see an increasing population of young people who come to regret having done this to themselves, while they wonder, where were the adults? Where were the adults during this entire process? That's a good question, because we certainly weren't looking out for the well-being of our children. It's with this in mind that I'm pleased that Governor Youngkin's model policies on ensuring privacy, dignity, and respect for all students and parents in Virginia public schools have finally been released. Not because they're perfect, because they're certainly not, but because they bring the parents back into the discussion when kids are considering such severe alterations and not treating the parents like the bad guys. I'm pleased with the model policies because they protect teachers who felt compelled to alter their speech in their classrooms. But mostly I'm pleased with the model policies because they make a better attempt to protect every kid, in our schools. Now again, these model policies aren't perfect. We look forward to working with you. Hopefully we can make them stronger. But we do expect them to be embraced as readily as the former administration's model policies were embraced. We think it's past time to protect our children, all of them, and adopting these model policies will be a strong step toward achieving that goal. We ask that you create a county policy as soon as possible and put it up in the agenda for a vote. Thank you for your time.
Ann Tatus.
First and quickly, I'm going to start out with yet again, I've recited Virginia Code to you. So now I'm going to your own policy. This is going to be Policy 4180, School Counseling Program. Each school will provide academic, career, personal information regarding personal social counseling will be kept confidential and separate. How is that when we have Chromebooks? Employment counseling, it's a lot of counseling. Classroom guidance, conduct by school counselor in the classroom for all students. Let's see. Small group counseling available to students experiencing specific in common. So the classroom guidance is for all. They're very specific about that. You did this, by the way, on August 10th, 2021, my first school board meeting before I knew to go through this stuff. So this is one you can't claim, we didn't know the other school board did it. Individual counseling, direct assistance to individual students. Participation and parental consent. No student will be required to participate in any counseling to which the student's parents object. Your policy. Parental permission is not required for short duration personal or social counseling. Let's all agree that it's not short duration and it's not personal. Parental permission is required opt-in for small group counseling or ongoing structured individual counseling. Parents may elect to have their elementary school, this is not codified in Virginia, by the way, not participate, opt out in classroom group counseling. But if it was, you're still not doing it. Parents shall be notified prior to the date on which such counseling lessons occur. Such notice shall provide enough in advance to allow parents to opt an opportunity to opt their children out and view lesson plans and materials. Still not doing that. Still not part of the law. But anyway, you're not doing either. The procedure for parents to use in opting their children out of counseling is the parent shall make the request in writing. Parents paying attention, write your school, opt them out. They're counseling them to death without your permission. The principal shall make arrangements to exclude the student from the planned classroom activity. Alternate lessons will not be provided. You're violating federal law. Notice of availability of counseling. Parents will be notified at least annually about all counseling so it goes back elementary school or all. Which one is it? Your policy 2021. So yet again, we have DESA coming up with Sharon Pope in the 21st. Let's see, assessment overview, Dr. Sharon Pope, Dr. Terry Perkins, December 21st, 2021. You went over assessments. Accountability, the why, starting with the why, accountability. That's your accountability, in which you have VKRP, PALS, DESA, starting in kindergarten. WIDA access, DESA. First grade, PALS, DESA. That's the Devereaux behavior screener that you're doing K through 8 on children repeatedly. Last year, agreement, not all schools went out. Are we doing that again? Are we there? That you're refusing to follow federal law? Because you're the only division in the state not following ESSER. So guess what? OIG is going to come in and overhaul this county inside and out. I have it done. Spoke to Governor Youngkin last week, Tuesday. He's now aware that the legislation I wrote, by the way, that to audit, and so does Amy Gadara, the whole state, you're going to get started because I have every email I've ever sent. You won't report the money. Why? Because one school board at a town hall admitted you used the ESSER money to pay off your debt for 2 years. Another one who's not here admitted you used the ESSER money to become fully funded for 2 years. That's called fraud. Okay? That's why you won't report where the money is. And by the way, the UN Child Rights, that's not America. That's not the United States. Okay? That's called we are a sovereign nation. It's not a thing. It's called my rights don't stop where your feelings begin yet again. 14th Amendment, due process. Again, attorneys, I'll see you in a month if you don't bring parents back into the equation. It's not an option.
George Brito Jr., Senior. Peggy Taylor.
Good evening. I am Peggy Taylor from the Clover Hill District. As a mom with 4 kids who went through Chesterfield County Public Schools, a grandmother, and a former Chesterfield County Public School teacher, I want to briefly discuss the new revision on school transgender issues policy released by Governor Youngkin's Educational Department. I realize your job is the most difficult one in trying to accommodate different viewpoints and adhere to already established policies and make new ones. I want to challenge you with a challenge that was presented to myself and why I am here. A biblical plumb line was established long ago, and one our culture agreed upon and followed together. It was the cement that solidified our foundations in families, our schools, our government, etc. As I and we have strayed away from this plumb line knowingly and sometimes unknowingly, watching and not speaking up, allowing without confronting, such as when prayer in reference to God was stricken from our schools and many other places, we have seen more and more social challenges and problems. Could it be because there are so many and varied plumb lines coming from our own thinking? I ask you, the board, to look at this revision and the challenges it brings, not only from a school leadership position, but also from a spiritual point of view. As mentioned, I was challenged to speak up, not because I want to. This isn't a place I like to be, but because I believe it is my responsibility now to bring attention to the straying and possible dangerous road a person or persons may be headed towards. To not say anything is to condone the pulling away from the original standards, and then I am part of the problem and the consequences. Each of us will be accountable whether we believe in it here or not to this standard line. Like gravity, it is here and working, whether we believe in gravity or not. In this instance, the revision will be coming up for a vote. I ask you to look at this from all points of view, including a biblical one, and vote yes to accepting these revisions and possibly amendments coming down the road that may see it as one step returning towards the original biblical plumb line. I thank you.
Brenda Stewart.
Good evening. I'm Brenda Stewart from the Matoaca District. Based on evidence and belief, speaking as a Christian who believes in the Bible and Jesus Christ as my Savior, I believe God created only two sexes, male and female, according to Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. Scientists have confirmed that biblical truth about human males and females. Insofar as I know, the public education curriculum includes the fact that the XX and XY chromosomes differentiate between females and males throughout human life. Public educators at every level who accept and promote the idea that individuals can change their scientifically determined birth sex by use of experimental and dangerous drugs and body-mutilating surgeries, while simultaneously adopting a curriculum that presents the scientific truth of sex-determining XX and XY chromosomes, have some explaining to do. How do you justify such an inconsistency between a long-established scientific curriculum and recent policies? Have you considered the confusion you are causing by promoting such conflicting ideas? I believe the overlapping definitions of sex and gender have become popular in relatively recent times are contributing to the current confusion. Gender historically was associated with and synonymous with biological sex. Identification with either the female or male sex is a physical construct. Modern society has adopted additional genders, and it has become common to identify gender as a social construct. The concept of gender fluidity guarantees continual changes and controversies. Tracking and quickly responding to constant growth and assertion of a number of genders to individuals identifying as different genders on different days or for differing periods of time are not practical in school setting. One of the most common lies used by those promoting the transgender program has been introduced to parents by use of the question, would you rather have a dead daughter or a living son? The clear implication is that parents who refuse so-called gender-affirming care for their confused child will drive the child to commit suicide. According to a new Danish landmark study, suicide rates and psychiatric conditions are much higher among trans-identifying people. The suicide death rate was 3.5 times higher, and suicide attempts were 7.7 times the rate of those not identifying as transgender. The study analyzed the medical and legal gender change records of nearly 7 million people in Denmark, including the nearly 3,800 transgender people over the last 4 decades. The study was published in June 2023 in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Parental authority, family cohesion, and function are increasingly at risk if you continue to avoid accountability for denying the truth of science. Please conduct town hall meetings soon in each magisterial district to facilitate needed public discussion of this critical and life-altering issue. No one needs to be bullied, and no one needs to be mistreated. All our children are precious, but more public discussion is needed about this issue. Thank you.
Matthew McNeil.
Hey, how are y'all doing? I just have some questions over. All right, so the policy for 22 that was revised to 23 did change some things, which we're all thankful for. Step in the right direction. But the policy from 22, in, I guess, your book, says the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantees religious freedom and prohibits the government from compelling speech that is contrary to an individual's personal or religious beliefs. Then you come to the 2023, it says the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantees religious freedom and prohibits government from compelling speech in some contexts. I don't know, I think we need some clarification there. I don't know what kind of speech the government can compel me, kids, or anyone for that matter. Government thinks it can compel any one of us into any kind of speech, they'll hit a wall. That wall is the people. Now, piggybacking off of the woman right before me, there are only two sexes. In today's day and age, right, you have certain scientists, certain, I guess, theologians that will prevent evidence, right, to back their view, right? So you try to go right down the middle. You take something from here, you go right down the middle. But if you were to look at certain scientists, right, certain historians that have an IQ that pretty much puts them at genius, if not higher than genius, if it's even possible. There are a few in history that we could name off the top of our heads. You know, one being Albert Einstein. And he's beyond reproach. If anyone can say that Albert Einstein would stand here and say, yes, there is more than two sexes, I think we'd all be on smoking something. But I'm not liking that one addendum, that one change on y'all's description of what the First Amendment is. I mean, if you were to try to twist it to cover maybe hate speech, but according to the Supreme Court, and this is Wikipedia, and I'm no fan of Wikipedia, trust me, on their slant, but sometimes Wikipedia is right down the middle, and this might be the one time. But the Supreme Court, and which is, I guess, paraphrased, Wikipedia paraphrases the Supreme Court, so I'm paraphrasing both, technically. There is no hate speech exception to the First Amendment. So many Americans wonder, is hate speech legal? Contrary to a common misconception, most expression one might identify as hate speech is protected by the First Amendment. It cannot lawfully be censored, punished, or unduly burdened by the government, including public colleges, schools, and universities. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Robert Ebereth.
Well, it felt like a long time being out of this podium. I feel like I've not been here for a year. It's good to be back in a way. So I'm going to be addressing the model policies, ensuring privacy, dignity, and the respect for all students and parents in Virginia public schools that was revised in July 23. Now, there are some issues with this. I don't fully support this. In fact, if certain things are left in it, I probably won't support it at all. So I'm going to address this. I'm here to address a matter of most importance, the protection of parental rights, an essential pillar of our society. Just as so many firmly defend our Second Amendment rights, it's equally crucial to stand up for the rights of parents enshrined in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. The 14th Amendment guarantees equal protection under the law of all citizens regardless of race or background. It also upholds the fundamental principle that no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law. Due process of law. Parental rights grounded in the amendment grant us the autonomy to raise our children according to our values and beliefs, fostering a sense of family and unity. These rights are not immune to attack. As parents, we have witnessed a growing trend of encroachments on parents' ability to make decisions for their children's upbringing, the government intervening to strip the child away from the parental control and establish children's rights that overpower the parental rights. There are small organizations and government right now that are advocating for that very scenario to happen. Just as many passionately advocate for our Second Amendment rights, it is also crucial that we also channel that same energy and commitment of safeguarding the rights of parents when it comes to the upbringing and education of their children. Parental rights are the cornerstone of a free and just society, enabling families to make informed decisions and align their values and beliefs. The Constitution exists not to just guide us, but to protect us from government overreach. In conclusion, let us remember that just as we defend and preserve our Second Amendment rights, we parents must also stand united to preserve our parental rights. Our children's future and fabric of our society depend on our unwavering dedication to the principles that founded this nation. So I'm going to go into it real quick because I got a minute and a half. I'm going to read why I don't like this one. Where state and federal law requires schools to permit transgender students to share otherwise sexual segregated facilities such as bathrooms and lockers, and they allow an opt-out. Well, guess what? The non-transgender kid has to opt out. And if you go to the statistics that the U.S. Census Bureau did with the household poll survey, there are 97.5% straight people, not cisgender people, and 1.1% transgender, and apparently 1.4% that have no idea who they are. So that's in here, and so they would have to opt out. So, you know, I started thinking about that, 97% of, what if I was able to create an opt-out campaign and all 97%, I mean, there'd be a big line at that one bathroom because they have to actually, when they opt out, they actually have to transition, bring them to a different bathroom that is assigned to them rather than the other. So, you know, we're singling out the non-trans too. It's not really something that should be happening right now, and I think it feels backwards, but backwards. Don't want to say the donkey word. So students shall use bathrooms and correspond to his or her, except to the extent the federal law otherwise requires, which is Grimm versus Gloucester County, which basically says that any transgender that identifies as a male or female can use that facility. And it's up to the non-transgender to opt out, if they can find the opt-out forms, because we all know with the opt-out forms it's hard to find. And so if they don't opt out, they're automatically opted in, and they're exposed, and I'm not going to say in danger, but you know, you're putting the health risk at some of these girls in elementary school, middle school, like the speaker said before. So I can't support this if this is in here. If these are in here, which I'll leave with, I cannot support this, and I appreciate everybody else. So thank you very much. Robert Everett, Virginia Shown First.
Madam Chair, that concludes this evening's public comment.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we have this evening's Superintendent's Report, Dr. Daugherty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, this evening, I'd asked for the end of the school year update from Dr. High.
Good evening, Ms. Coker, Ms. Haynes, school board members, and Dr. Daugherty.
Thank you. I always forget that. This evening, we will provide you an end-of-the-year update on some of our division highlights, curriculum and instruction, school improvement, our preliminary division accreditation status, preliminary data from the SOLs, graduation highlights, and our summer learning program. These are a few initiatives and programs that we could highlight in this presentation. There are many that we could have highlighted, but we might be here a long time tonight. We've chosen a few highlights to share from several CCPS departments. We successfully served students in our newly opened Chesterfield Recovery Academy this year. Progress was made on the construction of the new Fallen Creek Middle School, continued the management of the pandemic funding, including ESSER funds for several critical use cases, to include stipends for high-need schools, tutoring, HVAC upgrades, and some school needs. We increased the safety and security at schools through vestibules and the implementation of new cameras at many of our schools. Professional learning opportunities provided to school-based leaders and professional staff members to enhance our instructional leadership and best practices. The Division of Teaching and Learning serves and supports the instructional staff in each school to ensure engaging learning experiences that are happening every day. Highlights of specific work during the 2022-23 are listed here on this slide. In our elementary level, we had the K-5 literacy materials purchased. They are aligned to the science of reading principles. Materials and professional development launched for the future school year of 23-24. Our CTE expanded student experiences, and we'll highlight that more in a presentation later this afternoon. Our STRIDE tutoring for secondary students were launched. 604 individual students served 3,258 tutoring sessions with a 4.9 out of 5 student satisfaction rating. That tells us our students learned a lot and enjoyed the sessions that they attended. We partnered with LEGO and an enrichment program for our middle school summer school. Professional development opportunities for school year 22-23. There were 3,103 offerings, 109,277 attendees. We provided targeted special education training and technical assistance to build our leadership and our teacher skills. The focus for the Division of Teaching and Learning work in school year 2022-23 was rooted in the foundational documents listed here. As you can see here, we've completed year 1 of implementation in the first 3 bulleted items: our Imagine Tomorrow, which was updated October 2022, our CCPS Pre-K 12 Classroom Best Practices Look Forward Guide, and our CCPS Literacy Plan, which will be from 2022 to 2025. And we continue in years 2 and 3 in the last 3 items listed here: our Career and Technical Pathways work, our Curriculum Portal for Pre-K 12, for teachers to access our CPS curriculum, and our EdTech Hub for teacher support in the division digital resources. We know that it is most helpful to our teachers, school, and division leaders when we stay the course and continue working toward the set goals and expectations in these foundational division documents. Disruptive change does not always translate into monumental gains. In the realm of improving instruction across a large school division, consistent and steady always wins the race. For our school improvement team, along with Dr. Daugherty and Dr. Tyler, met with 67 of our schools at the beginning of the year to calibrate our SIP process, as well as to identify strengths and areas of opportunity. All of our schools had an academic goal and an engagement goal. All of our schools also focused on evidence-based practices and interventions to support our students with disability as another goal. Support was provided to all schools designated as level 2 and 3 through our accreditation system. Our professional learning opportunities, in conjunction with our curriculum development and support, focused on Tier 1 instruction. And 21 of our schools participated in the CEIS grant opportunity, which focused on multi-tier systems of support. This grant focused on positive behavior interventions and support through whole school approach for managing student behaviors. Now for some preliminary data. Preliminary division accreditation status: all schools in CCPS are accredited.
The final accreditation data is expected to be released from the VDOE in September of 2023. In terms of our preliminary SOL data, the changes by the State Board of Education to how growth on SOL assessments is calculated, grades 3 through 8, limited the amount of growth that we could earn. Our English and writing scores continue to be lower than our reading, and it impacted our final English ratings at the middle school level. Something to note is for the 2024 SOL administration in grades 5, 8, and end-of-year course, reading and writing tests will become an integrated test. There will not be SOL separate writing, SOL that's administered in March. The integrated approach will have science and social studies passages included. Another component of our SOL data is that our math and science, the improved pass rates indicate that there is recovery of learning in both of those content areas. Now to graduation, one of our proudest moments of the year. Each of our high school administrative teams did an excellent job recognizing our 2023 graduates. There were 4,567 graduates in our May graduation ceremonies. This includes all students earned the Advanced Studies Diploma, IB, Standard, and Adapted Studies Diplomas. The percentages given here shows the percentage of credentials earned by total graduates. In August, July 27th, we had 114 summer graduates, and approximately 70 students participated in that graduation. They walked across the stage proud, and we were proud of them. Our graduation rates will be finalized the end of September, beginning of October. The information here outlines the educational and career paths that students will take beyond their high school experience. Student scholarships totaled a little over $28 million, and these were self-reported by students, so often we find that it's lower than what was actually accepted by our students at graduation. In the career and technical education realm, there were 23,689 work-based learning experiences completed. This is doubled as we had just over 11,000 experiences completed in 2022. We received the VDOE Creating Excellence Work-Based Learning Business Partnership Partner of the Year for Region 1 and the state. We also received the Association for Career and Technical Education Best Practices recognition. Note here, there were 9,150 plus career credentials earned. This is also an increase from the previous 2022, where it was 8,075. Additional recognitions in our CTE department are the VDOE Creating Excellence Award for CTE programs, and that was awarded to L.C. Byrd Governor's Engineering Academy for Region 1. And then we had our International Technology and Engineering Education Association High School Program of the Year, and that was awarded to Matoaka High School for their Technology and Engineering Education program. We offered 5 program offerings this summer. Summer School, which was for in-person instruction, and it provided students who needed additional support, students who received a D or an F in the secondary level or had a 1 or 2 in the elementary level. We offered the extended day programs at our elementary Title I summer sites. Students who attended those summer school sites at these physical locations were eligible to attend the extended day program. We offered 2 two-week academies in SOL, SAT, and WISE for our students in grades 8 through 12, and they were held at Monacan and Byrd High School. Some camps included our Team Magic basketball camp, which was featured on Channel 6, Building Better Minds, and also cultural camps. And then we also had students attend CCPS Online for acceleration of coursework. This slide provides the numbers of students who attended the various programs. You'll note that in preschool, we had 397 students, elementary K2, 1,687, elementary 3 through 5, 1,357 students, middle school, 1,517 students, and in high schools, 9 through 12, 1,534, and those were in person, which was a total of 6,492 students, 92 students who attended in person. Additional programs, 1,543 of our elementary students remained at school for the extended day program. In the academies, there were 266 participants, 774 students participated in camps, and with CCPS Online, 1,772 students took 1,997 courses for acceleration. This was a total program of 9,304 students. This number is similar to our previous year summer school programs. CCPS students also had access to the digital programs that were in their CCPS electronic backpack. This provided the opportunity for all students to continue their learning and maintain learned skills. Thank you for your time this evening. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Dr. High. Board members, is there any discussion? Mr. Harder?
Thank you, Dr. High, for presenting that. A quick question on the STRIDE program. As we go into this next year, is that something that's going to continue to be advertised also to teachers to recommend to parents as those conversations are happening? Because I know we put it out, it's been advertised a number of different ways, but also to have teachers have those help facilitate conversations between teachers and parents.
Yes, we will continue to have those conversations and promote it for both students and for families.
Because I think it's really making a difference with a lot of our, scores and helping to bridge that gap with learning loss. So.
And we'll continue to monitor the numbers, and as we see the need to promote more, we'll continue to do that.
Awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
Ms. Haynes?
This is a note, so maybe for a future board meeting, but I'm a member at the board of self-evaluation. We talked a lot about wanting to use data more, and so when I look at the slide on graduation rates, digging in a little bit deeper, for example, the advanced diploma, what percentage of special education students receive the advanced diploma, just looking more into demographics to make sure all students are experiencing growth in graduation rates, advanced diploma, et cetera.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Heffron?
Thank you. So for summer programs going forward, do you anticipate staying with the model of more of a supportive in-person learning, or expanding that to, I guess, how it used to be with a more, I guess, elective kind of a feel to the in-person summer school?
So we went to the more elective during the pandemic, just because there was such interruption in education. We found that going back to this model provided us to be able to target the needs of our students who needed the most support. The electronic backpack does allow students to continue to learn throughout, some of the skills, and continue to broaden their skills throughout the summer. So we probably will stay with this model unless there are, some other data that tells us we need to broaden it. But we always look for ways that we can improve our summer offerings. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. High, for that update. Next, we have our literacy plan update from Dr. Booth and Ms. Staines.
Good evening, Board Chair, Vice Chair, members, and Dr. Doherty. I am Dr. Monique Booth, Director of Elementary Curriculum Development and Support, and accompanying me in this presentation is Emily Staines, Director of Secondary CD&S. It is our pleasure to update you today on literacy work across CCPS. Dr. Perkins last updated the school board on April 12th, 2022. Our update topics for you today are listed here. What do the items on the screen have in common? They indicate the necessity of improving our literacy teaching and learning practices so that every child in Chesterfield County can achieve what they need to be a reader and writer as they aim for graduation and college and career readiness. To be clear, statewide legislation goes into full effect in 2024, but our own literacy plan, which this board approved in May 2022, set us on the path of improvement. The why behind that improvement work was evidenced in declining student performance in reading, as denoted on this slide. Like divisions across the Commonwealth and the nation, in CCPS, literacy scores were declining pre-pandemic, with grade 3 showing the largest SOL decline from spring 2017 to spring 2019. Likewise, PALS data showed concerning declines in grade 2 during the same time period. Ms. Daines will now share an update on our CCPS literacy plan progress.
Good evening. As was presented to this board at the time of approval, the CCPS literacy plan was the result of efforts from over 150 CCPS educators, including representatives from special education and English as a second language. It continues to serve as our foundational document, guiding our CCPS literacy work over a 3-year period, with the goal of promoting a culture of literacy that empowers all students. The plan identifies the 5 essential elements of data analysis, curriculum and instruction, professional learning, literacy in all areas, and stakeholder engagement. Critical to year 1 of implementation in 2022-23 was the corresponding implementation guide that provided our leaders, teachers, and staff members with tangible resources that translated the plan's elements into action in our schools. Because it is an ever-changing document that has resources added to it as they become available to support our literacy plan, we're happy to provide a point-in-time access upon request. While the CCPS literacy plan builds over 3 years, we recognize that our schools are in different places in their literacy journeys. During the 2022 June Leadership Academy, the Office of Curriculum asked school leaders to complete a reflection form to determine their focus areas as a team for the 2022-23 school year. On this slide are the 3 most popular plan elements that surfaced. Based on this information, a series of complementary resources were provided to our busy educators. For example, the Office of Research and Evaluation built a SOL data dashboard that assists school leaders and teachers for both long-range and short-range analysis and instructional planning. Schools also received the CCPS Classroom Best Practices Look-Fors Guide, pre-K through 12, which lays out the overarching literacy practices that teachers in this content area can employ, as well as the observable teacher actions and student actions expected in every classroom. These observables are aligned to and give evidence of our literacy plan progress. Schools access through the CCPS curriculum portal a comprehensive literacy framework that spirals reading, writing, research, and communication strands with classroom instruction, student activities, and assessments aligned to the 2017 Virginia Department of Education English Standards of Learning. And resources such as Striving Readers, Spire, and Letters expanded during the 2022-23 year to further assist secondary students as tiered literacy interventions for students behind their peers. Finally, Professional Learning offered approximately 200 literacy sessions, from school book studies to facilitated literacy labs to independent learning opportunities through webinars that helped empower our dynamic leaders, teachers, instructional designers, and staff shift to best practices in foundational early literacy and comprehensive literacy instruction. Now Dr. Booth will share our next steps in elementary literacy resources.
The CCPS RFP process following CCPS board approval of the CCPS Literacy Plan paved the way for this opportunity in alignment with the Virginia Literacy Act. Our literacy plan states, division level and school leaders must fund procurement of adequate evidence-based resources for teachers. And by 2024, the Virginia Literacy Act states that every teacher uses evidence-based literacy curriculum for the entire literacy block. And every division ensures all kindergarten through grade 3 teachers have and use evidence-based literacy curriculum, which leads us to a comprehensive purchase. Reading research and our CCPS teachers' pleas for ample and high-quality print literacy resources led us to look for funds to make the best possible purchase. We utilize many departmental funds and grant sources to total just over $6.7 million for this purchase. McGraw-Hill's Open Court Reading provides complete classroom resources for our elementary schools. As a part of the RFP process, we were sure to include the voices of many, including not only those represented on the RFP committee, but we also brought in additional literacy specialists, ESL, and special education specialists to preview the materials each vendor submitted for consideration and input. A single resource does not mean a rigid implementation. There are advantages to all schools using the same literacy materials, such as student mobility, district size, necessary supports to build teacher capacity, and forming learning communities. While our communities and schools rightly note the many differences we all see across schools in terms of achievement data and reading research, the message is surprisingly the same everywhere. We need a tightly aligned to the science of reading tool that will help all children read on or above grade level. As Chesterfield grows in size, diversity, and student needs, we are experiencing the imperative to better help every student in all of our schools. McGraw-Hill's Open Court Reading will provide comprehensive reading and language arts materials for every K-5 classroom in our elementary schools. Open Court Reading has had a long and successful history of teaching critical foundational skills using research-based materials that integrate findings from learning theory and cognitive science, also known as the science of reading, as well as literacy development and teacher expertise. Key instructional areas build across grade levels to help students become confident and effective readers using comprehensive reading and language arts materials. Instruction will be systematic and explicit and include practice and application. Every teacher in our nearly 1,400 grade level classrooms will get their own complete resources. Special educators and ESL teachers will have access to these materials as well. Every student will have their own student-facing text, decodables, student readers, and anthologies of rich grade-level text. The materials include teacher tips, instructional routines, and guidance that support building teacher capacity and skills to deliver effective literacy instruction aligned to the science of reading and evidence-based practices. We are excited that 1,432 teachers, including general education, special education, ESL teachers, and other school support staff, have completed the training, with more sessions being offered later this week. Our district elementary literacy specialist, Karen Hoover, assembled a team of 24, including special education teachers, ESL teachers, instructional designers, and literacy specialists, to revise our CCPS K-5 curriculum documents to align with Open Court scope and sequence and pacing. Additional support from McGraw-Hill comes in the form of many online resources, ongoing work they will do with our literacy team, and school visits from their coaches to assist schools in using these resources effectively throughout the 23-24 school year. As good stewards of our funding, we will monitor implementation in partnership with our district's research and evaluation team. We have formed a CCPS literacy evaluation team who will work closely with schools and district staff to systematically monitor and document the implementation processes to describe how well the resources are being put into action. The team includes voices of both principals, literacy specialists, and central staff. Now, Ms. Staines will share an update on secondary literacy resources.
In secondary literacy, Caroline Canning, our secondary literacy curriculum specialist, led 24 teachers, instructional designers, and reading specialists to utilize the comprehensive literacy model to enhance and revise our CCPS secondary literacy instructional resources in several ways. In each grade level, teachers have a scope and sequence for long-range planning, redesigned 6 thematic units with daily lesson suggestions to support our new and experienced teachers, suggested summative and formative assessments, and activities that highlight the integration of reading and writing skills and learning experiences for students. Additionally, we will continue utilizing informal and formal progress monitoring, such as our middle and high school comprehensive instructional writing rubrics, to monitor student growth and achievement throughout the school year. For example, these rubrics set expectations for writing progress throughout a school year and grows with our students from 6th grade to their senior year as students acquire more and deeper writing skills. As I highlighted earlier in our presentation, we are committed to continuous and high-quality professional learning. In secondary literacy, we will amplify these experiences in several ways. For example, our secondary literacy curriculum specialist provides monthly professional learning for our department leaders on the CCPS best practices in literacy to help them lead their departments. Each quarter, Curriculum Development and Support offers opportunities for all secondary literacy teachers to gain deeper knowledge and practical application and evidence-based literacy best practices to support them through synchronous and on-demand opportunities. Additionally, we provide ongoing training on district-purchased digital tools for interdisciplinary literacy resources. Finally, we will begin planning for opportunities to help teachers and school leaders build their awareness of and build proficiency in incorporating evidence-based literacy instruction and science-based awareness in middle school that will launch in 2024-25 school year per our CCPS policy 5191. Your investment and commitment in these resources will help us provide customized professional learning and coaching to support the implementation to improve literacy skills for our secondary students. As our CCPS literacy plan states, we believe in the power of literacy to create a better tomorrow by igniting a passion for learning through authentic and captivating experiences. This is our continued commitment to our schools, our students, and our community. Thank you for your time and your continued commitment and support for literacy. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you both. Board members, is there any discussion? Ms. Haynes?
I only have one question. That was an amazing presentation, so thank you. I was glad to hear you mention like this specific attention given to students with disabilities and English language learners. I was wondering if there are extra supports for those populations offered within the open court program.
Tier 1 instruction is inclusive of all students to include students with disabilities and English language learners. But in addition to providing the high-quality Tier 1 instruction aligned to the science of reading, open court materials do offer resources and materials that are specifically designed for differentiating instruction for those populations. And those materials and resources are available and provided.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned on slide 8 that there is a CCPS literacy evaluation team. How often will they be meeting, and would they be able to come and do another presentation later in the year to give us an update?
Definitely.
Okay.
We're meeting quite frequently just in the beginning stages because there's a representative from the research and evaluation team who is attending all the trainings and just sitting in on all of the meetings just to be engaged in the work from the very start. But we're meeting right now probably about every 2.5, 3 weeks. We'll probably go to monthly, but yes, we definitely we have a plan to come and share at the end of the year some information with the board, I'm sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. That was a very, very comprehensive presentation, so thank you very much. Next, we have this evening's action items. Mr. Smith.
Board members, you have two policy packets before you this evening. The first one is memorandum number 122-23. Staff recommends revisions to current policies and regulations as follows. Revisions to policy 5361 revise, proper handling of personal, sensitive, and confidential information. Revisions to policy 5361-R revise, proper handling of personal, sensitive, and confidential information. And revisions to policy 7230-R revise, acceptable use of CCPS-net. Proposed changes have been reviewed by the school board attorney. Second reading and final school board adoption for the above name is scheduled for the next regular school board meeting. If approved, the revisions to current policies and regulations will become effective immediately.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Board members, may I have a motion to approve memo 122-23 as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Board members, is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, I think that's just for first review.
Oh. All right. right. Let's see. So now we have the next memo, 123. So, Mr. Smith.
Yes. Staff recommends revisions to current policies and regulations as follows. Revisions to policy 5220, vacation leave for 12-month employees. Revisions to policy 5240, personal leave for 10 and 11-month employees. The proposed changes have been reviewed by the school board attorney. I would note, since first review, one change that was made, there was an effective date reference for October, originally effective for June 30th, and that was changed to October 1 in both of those policies. I would also note that the annual physical impact would be staggered, as payout events only occur as employees leave the school division. However, there would be an estimated one-time increase in liabilities of up to $500,000 given the higher leave balances employees will be allowed to carry. It is recommended the school board approve the above reference revisions to current policy and regulations. It's further recommended the school board schedule these to become effective immediately.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Board members, may I have a motion to approve memo 123-23 as presented?
It's the same thing, Madam Chair, just discussion.
This is a recommended.
This is second, yeah. This is a second. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Board members, is there any discussion? There has been a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call roll on the motion.
Dot Heffron.
Aye.
Ryan Harder.
Aye.
Catherine Haynes.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye, the memo is approved. Next, we have memo 124-23. Mr. Carson.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. You have in front of you memo 124-23, award of contracts for professional services for architecture and engineering. A little bit of background. The Chesterfield County Procurement Department formed a RFP committee in January of 2023 in order to select multiple firms to provide architectural and engineering services on an as-needed basis for many CCPS projects as required. This contract is structured to meet requirements over a one-year term with the option to renew for 3 additional terms for up to a 4-year contract term in total. Representatives from the county and CCPS served on this committee, and in February of 23, we issued a RFP for such services, and in late March of 23, 15 firms submitted on this solicitation, which is quite excellent. 7 firms were shortlisted, and after review of the proposals, presentations, and negotiations, the evaluation committee unanimously recommends that the school board and the board of supervisors, being that this is a county contract as well, approve the award of the above referenced contract to these firms: Austin Brockenbrow, Crabtree, Rohrbaugh and Associates, Dewberry Engineers, Grimm and Parker, Guernsey Tingle, HBA Architecture and Interior Design, and Mosley Architects. There's no fiscal impact to awarding this contract at this time, and staff recommends approval of this memo. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Carson. Board members, may I have a motion to approve memo 124-23 as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Board members, is there any discussion? There has been a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call roll on the motion.
Dot Heffron.
Aye.
Ryan Harder.
Aye.
Catherine Haynes.
Aye.
Ann Coker.
Aye. The memo is approved. Next, we have items for board review. Madam Clerk, would you please read the items for this evening?
Madam Chair, tonight's agenda includes the following items for the board review. Number 1, magisterial district improvement funds, fiscal year 2023. Number 2, magisterial district improvement funds, fiscal year 2024. Budget change request summary across categories, May 2023. Number 4, budget change request summary across categories, June 2023. Number 5, fiscal year 2023, May expenditures versus appropriations. Number 6, board committee reports. Number 7, pre-K update, May 2023. And number 8, CCPS Strategic Plan Progress Review.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next, we have this evening's superintendent remarks. Dr. Daugherty.
Good evening, board members. We ready?
Yeah.
I'm just checking. We're getting ready to start school a week from today. All the gangs coming in. But before I start, let's go and move it. Go ahead. Well, I'd like to talk about summer school. We had that's a little fast for me.
Well, I had to go back.
Okay, I think it's, let me try. Okay. Summer was a blur. We worked really hard, and we had to catch up. It's always wonderful to see students. Sometimes it takes a little longer. And we had 114 students that persevered. They wanted their diploma. We believe the diploma, as I told them, is the most important thing they can get right now in our society. Very proud of them. We know they're going to do great things, but on the 27th of July, we had a wonderful time with the students and the families, and just so proud of them and their endurance to get to the finish line. So we're excited about Participate, and we're thinking outside the box in hiring. As was stated earlier in meetings today, that we are about 99 and change filled, much better than last year in positions. We are excited about that opportunity for our students in classrooms and support in our buildings as well. Anticipate that we have 30 educators from nine countries, and they are experienced teachers. They went through an interview process, and right now we've already had requests from about 60 schools for teachers next year for Participate. So we are looking forward to this. Many of them brought their families, but we did everything we could with business partners to make sure that they were welcomed. They left everything to come here to teach in Chesterfield, and so we're really excited. And they were a new teacher week last week, excited, and they're in their schools, and we are working to make sure they're successful just like every other new teacher. So we have a job fair coming up, just putting it out there for instructional assistants or really anything you'd like to do. If you'd like to drive a bus, if you'd like to work in nutrition, we can help you out here. But we have job fairs all the time, and this one's on August 16th at Providence Middle School from 4 to 6. But as you've seen over and over again, we run at least two, or maybe 3 job fairs a month as we keep going. We are always putting it out there because there's always a need for additional staff. So our professional this summer was very intense with a lot of things that you've heard from our curriculum teams. But it was very interesting to see the professional development and the excitement of participation by the teachers and the staff members, knowing that we were really pushing the envelope and going in a direction that we're going to help each teacher in the classroom, but help their child do much better than where we've been. And so with everything that we've been trying to do, and the professional development department has been extremely busy. I don't think there was a day that we had through the summer that during a work week that we did not have something going on as professional development within Hall Street, but also in buildings throughout our school division. Bellwood and Falling Creek have already started. They've been rolling almost a month, and a great opportunity to visit them. Been there a couple times already. I've developed some new friends that I have to stop by. I was taught every time I go to school I have to stop by, and they really did a great job of rolling out the year and setting a really positive atmosphere for the rest of the school division. And to that staff who had a very short summer, to the administration who turned it around, but it is going extremely well there. And I give Falling Creek, we give them a little bit more love because they're putting up a skyscraper next to them. And they're excited about the school. It just blocks the sun from them now. But they're doing a great job with dealing with the construction. As you know, we start traditionally next Monday. We have a K to 6, and then 9th grade will come in. Our Ks are divided up into 2 groups. Helps our teachers get to know the students immediately, but also helps our students. Walking, kindergartners around to understand where everything is can be a little challenging. If not, we've asked anyone who'd like to volunteer down at CECLA to come in and walk around with those students. But it's exciting that we have the teachers. This week we'll be preparing, getting ready, some open houses occurring, back to school nights. But I know we have just an unbelievable excitement about what's going on in our school division this year. Our teachers are the bread and butter of everything we do. We have phenomenal people in our school division. Principals lead, provide the instructional pieces that they need, the support staff in the buildings, but every day we have teachers every day helping our children. And you talk to our children and, they fall in love with their teachers because they know that they care about them. And when we were interviewing for other positions, talking to people, the first thing that has to happen, you have to love kids. And after that, we can do anything else. And so we have phenomenal people in the school division. And I think that's what makes Chesterfield County. Everybody else thinks they're important, but it's really the teachers in the classroom that are the superstars every day. So back to school information, we encourage families. We put it out every Friday. We have not stopped. Every Friday we put out a memo to our staff, to our parents. Some of the same information is on Monday to our staff as well. But to get into Synergy, making sure they're signed up for their buses, make sure their information is correct. One of the difficult things for transportation is that people will say, well, I want my child to ride the bus. One of the really important points is you have to tell us. And because they rode the bus last year doesn't mean they're going to ride the bus this year. Or are they going to get off at the same location? And I know this, that from this point on until we open up, and they'll work on the weekends for this, and they have been working on the weekends, our transportation people, of routing, they will do everything they can to make sure every child is picked up and delivered to their school. And another important key is, and we bring them home. So we're looking forward to a great school year. We believe that there's been a lot of work done this year. This was probably the hardest summer we had to get ready because we want to make sure everything was ready to go just right for our kids. 64,000 plus, 10,000 employees, 67 schools, 8 million miles, 8 million meals. And you saw today, we just have phenomenal people. And it's an honor to be the superintendent of this school division. So thank you for your support. We're excited about the school year. And we invite everybody out on that first day to greet the kids and give them high fives and let them know that we're excited they're back. So that's my report. Any questions from the board?
Thank you, Dr. Daugherty. Any questions or comments from the board? Yep.
Thank you.
Next, we have announcements, communications, and school board comments. School board members, are there any announcements or comments? Ms. Efron?
Thank you. Madam Chair, I just had, I guess, not even a point of order, really, but can we amend the agenda to move memo 122-23 from an action item to the items for board review? Since we didn't take action on that, that was a review, no?
Yes.
The first read?
First read, yeah.
There was no formal action taken, so maybe we should move that to the item for board review, or no?
You can leave it where it is. You'll make sure you're fine there.
Okay, thanks. Perfect. Thank you.
I think I would just like to tell all of our students and our teachers out there, this is going to be an awesome school year, so looking forward to it. And to all the parents, Yes, please check your emails. You're not only getting emails from the school division, but also your individual schools with information of important events that are happening in the next couple weeks. Open houses, back to school nights, all of that. So our next school board meeting, we'll hold a work session on Tuesday, September 12th, 2023 at 4 p.m. here in the public meeting room. It will be followed by a business meeting at 6:30. If there's no further business, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, would you please call roll on the motion?
Dot Heffron.
Aye.
Ryan Harder.
Aye.
Catherine Haynes.
Aye.
And Coker.
Aye, the motion carries. The August 14th, 2023 school board business meeting is adjourned.